If you can realize that it's a gift from Him, then it's much easier to turn it back into worship for Him and know that you've been placed in that area for His glory.
Lights so bright. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's make this music flow. Let's take it to another level. Let's show the whole world what they all need to know. Christ is alive and He's coming back for yo. This is the sound of a hurricane. Representing God, so representing no other name. The sound that is passing you by. Heaven-bound parade with our hands.
Welcome. I'm Craig Young, and this is the Going Home Show, a place where we look at people, families, ministries, and churches, and see where God is moving through His people.
For example, at my church, we gather every Sunday, obviously, but we like to think of that as like just our family meeting. But then the church really takes place when we all leave and we're all on mission wherever we live.
You have a very big decision to make, and to discern where God wants you to be.
If someone asked me what they could do to get closer to God, my recommendations wouldn't be go to university and play hockey.
Thank you so much. This is Going Home, and sitting with me, this is a very good friend of mine, Andrew Chong. Thank you for being here on the show. This is going to be great. I've known Jordan for quite some time, and the challenge was, where do we begin? Where do we start? Well, let's talk about university. Let's go back a bit and tell a bit of your story, Jordan.
Sure. I went to college in Duluth, Minnesota, the College of San Scholastica. Main reason I went out there was to play college hockey.
Okay.
Kind of hockey's been my thing ever since I can remember, pretty much. And going out there, got recruited to go there, and it was a great opportunity.
So what was it like to be recruited?
It was pretty cool. I got to go when I was finishing my last years of junior hockey. Got to go down on a recruiting trip, and they took care of everything, bought me food and put me in a place to stay, and tried to sell me on the place. So it was really cool to be wanted.
You were done at the food. You were like, yeah. I'm here.
They had a nice buffet, and that was perfect for me.
What was it like with a young Jordan Chong growing up?
It was awesome. My family was incredible. My parents, my brothers, we all loved each other a ton. It was great. We didn't necessarily grow up in a Christian family we went to church occasionally, but there definitely wasn't the Jesus is the answer, Jesus is the only way thing. That didn't really come about till later. Really through the grace of God, me and my brothers all became Christians, where it all started when we went to summer camp that our mom sent us to, and that was huge in our lives. So yeah, I definitely think it was through the grace of God and through a lot of prayer from family, friends, stuff like that, that we would all come to know Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And so you guys are pretty tight as brothers. How important is that, being able to have your brothers just walk in faith together?
Yeah, it's been incredible. Just, there's always one of them I can talk to about real, in-depth biblical conversations, where if I'm struggling with something, I don't need to beat around the bush about whether it's I need help from God, where if I spoke to someone who wasn't a Christian, they wouldn't really know what I'm talking about or be able to help me in that. But I know that they're there to pray for me. Mm-hmm. I know that they're there to give me wisdom and open the Bible with me and stuff like that. So it's been awesome.
What are you doing?
Oh man, just getting ready for camp. Getting some Bible studies ready for the boys. Got some Ecclesiastes rocking here. Got day one, almost ready to rock.
Stepping into a university and you're Christian, stepping in a community. What did that look like?
It was extremely difficult, but honestly, I feel like without going there, I wouldn't be nearly as strong in my faith as I am today.
So what were some of the difficult components of that?
Yeah, I definitely felt lonely a lot of the times, mostly because most of my Christian community was back home in Vancouver, and out there, I didn't really have a lot of people. And it was really during my last few years there that I think my understanding of the gospel and really starting to live it out rather than just know about it really started happening. Mm-hmm. I think a big part of it was around the middle of my college career, I realized the differences between happiness and joy, as the Bible talks about joy. Whereas like happiness is kind of like a fleeting emotion, you know, where like it can be gone in a second by someone saying one thing. But then I would read in the Bible about like the apostles getting like beaten nearly to death and leaving with joy. And I was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like what? Like,
That makes no sense.
there's no way joy is anything like happiness then. And then as I was going through this and just like praying to God, like what does this look like in my life? As I was struggling with people like living contrary to the gospel all around me, and just like the temptations to just be all about drinking and picking up girls and stuff like that. As all that was going on around me, like God just opened my eyes up to what joy really is, and how while things might not feel great all the time, I know that God is with me, and it's like a feeling of joy that no one can ever take away from you, no matter what happens, like we see in the Bible with the apostles, like we see with Jesus going to the cross and stuff like that.
So Jordan, there's going to be young kids and wanting to step out into an athletic career. What are some of the things as Christians to stay solid in your faith? What are some things that you would say to that young hockey player, soccer player, what have you?
Definitely just don't be afraid to follow Jesus. I know that it's going to be difficult, but I think anything you're passionate about doing, anything of any like value or meaning or depth in your life, is never going to be easy. Anything worth doing is going to be tough, and it's going to bring struggles. So I would say just go for it. Like God has uniquely made you to love playing that sport and given you the abilities to play it. And if you can realize that it's a gift from Him, then it's much easier to turn it back into worship for Him and know that you've been placed in that area for His glory. And like we've talked about before, you're there to be His representative in that community, to show people about who He is and just live like He did. If someone asked me what they could do to get closer to God, my recommendations wouldn't be go to university and play hockey.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I mean, I really think that I was put in that place for a reason. I really know that it has been and is my mission field. As Jesus has commanded us to go and spread the news of Him everywhere, I know that's where He's called me to be, because it's such a dark area in that, and there's not a lot of light, not a lot of people living the way of Jesus in there. And so I know 100% that that's why I'm there.
Okay, so you're done college, you get your degree, and hockey, it's in your blood, you're wanting to do that. What happens next?
It was really tough. I was unsure at the time if I wanted to keep playing hockey at the professional level, because I definitely knew there's a calling from God to go into ministry as a career. So what happened was I went to try out for a professional team in Texas, actually. And I was there through training camp, exhibition season, and then through the numbers of it all, I got released, and I had nowhere to play that year. So
I think I remember that. That was a very tough moment in your life. And when you're talking about ministry too, you have some giftings in worship and leading worship, and also in your teaching. And so just deciding, okay, God, is this where you want me to be, or is it hockey, right?
Yeah, no, it was very difficult. When I didn't make that team over there and I got sent home, I was like, okay, well, God, like maybe this is it. Maybe hockey's over with, and I'm gonna start doing ministry right now. So I was back home for like almost 3 months, like doing like nothing. Like I wasn't working. I was just like on the phone trying to get another place to play hockey. There wasn't really much out there in work and ministry for me like right away then. And then it was just after Christmas, I got a call saying, I got a spot for you on a team in Finland, in Europe. I was like, what?
Of course!
Yeah, that makes sense. And he started saying a bunch of names of cities I've never heard of in my life. And he's like, let me know like by like 2 days or something. Yeah. So I was like, well, like, this came out of nowhere. Yeah. I was expecting to go somewhere back in the States again, but and I was like, well, I'm doing absolutely nothing at home right now, so I might as well go.
you had a roommate over there, and talk to us a little bit about that and your faith and just God showing you some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like on all my other past like really competitive high level teams, there's been like 0 other Christian guys. And I go over to Finland of all places, and my one roommate there, he actually picked me up from the airport, is from Kelowna, so very close to where I live. And about 3 days into knowing him, we kind of figure out that we're both Christians, and we get to talking, and he shows me his prayer journal from earlier in the year, which says he was praying for a Christian teammate to come who knew how to play guitar, who could help teach him how to play guitar. We just both looked at each other and just like laughed about it and just like thought like, wow.
The only thing that was missing was Jordan Chong.
Yeah, the exact name. So we were both like amazed at like just how God was in all this, and he took both of us who lived like 4 hours away, going to the other side of the world to meet and do life together. So I mean, that was really cool.
Great. So spending time in Finland doing hockey there, great stories, and then it's off to where? You're back to North America.
Yeah, no, I came back after that season. And I was pretty certain I wanted to keep playing hockey. I wanted to play back in North America this time, no more Europe. It was a good experience, but wanted to come back. In the summer, I got a call from the coach in Pensacola, Florida. He offered me a spot to play there, and it didn't take me too long to decide. I was pretty happy to go and live on the beach and play hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a tremendous season. You guys, how did you finish?
We ended up losing in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, not that good.
It could have been worse. No, it was a really good season.
Yeah, and you personally had a really good season too.
Yeah.
Were you co-rookie of the year?
Yeah,
I guess.
I was.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so a lot of positive things. You have a huge fan base of individuals that are just, you know, the Chong Show and all this sort of thing, posters.
Yeah.
I even saw a clip on YouTube of an older gentleman imitating what young girls do when you come out. I'm not going to do that for you, but yeah, just a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. How do you keep yourself grounded? How do you stay focused on what God wants you to be doing and growing?
It was an awesome place to play. The fans were incredible. Honestly, at this point of my hockey career and of my walk with God, it's not too difficult for me to remember like why I'm doing anything I do, especially hockey. Especially I know that just how God has blessed me, and by the grace of Him, He's given me the abilities to play at a high level. So very rarely do I drift away from thinking that it's all about me. But it does happen. It's definitely a struggle. But because I know how faithful and how gracious He's been to me, it's made it much easier to stay grounded in such a dark area. My community of friends like back home is absolutely amazing, and I know they're not physically there with me when I go away, but just I'm in constant contact with people all the time, and that really helps keep me going.
So what is church to you? I mean, it seems that a lot of where God has you is on the road. What is church to you?
Church to me is definitely very missional. It's so easy to get into the idea of church as an hour meeting on Sunday and that's it, you know. But like, I think the church really starts to take place when you leave church on Sunday and you go out into the world. The Bible specifically says that we live where we live, we work where we work, play where we play for the glory of God, so that whoever we come in contact with would know about Him. And I've learned this in a very difficult way, being away from home, being around people who care very little about the gospel. So for me, it's just being on mission, and no matter what struggles come about, but always being on mission and always going after it. For example, at my church, we gather every Sunday, obviously, but we like to think of that as like our family meeting. But then the church really takes place when we all leave and we're all on mission wherever we live. We gather within smaller communities throughout the week. We have community groups and stuff like that. So like the whole going to church on Sunday isn't really like a biblical idea, but belonging to a church is, and really being the body of Christ.
Okay, so I know a lot of you Ice Flyer fans, people on the edge of your seat. You know, who knows? The decision may have been already made before this has come out. But what we want to talk about is the period of time that you're in. You have a very big decision to make, and to discern where God wants you to be. What's going through your mind?
Lots. I don't think I've ever been so back and forth on something in my life of such big things. So I definitely know I've been called to a life of ministry and pastoring and church planning, stuff like that. But I also know I've been blessed with this ability to play hockey and to be put in this mission field over here playing hockey and being a light in this dark place. So basically, the last little while, it's become very evident to me that very soon I should stop playing hockey and go into church planning and pastoring. And through my church back home, West Side, North Shore, they seem to have good opportunities to start doing that with them. And to start going into some apprenticeships and internships and learning about what that's all about and eventually planting through them, which I'm very excited about. And some days throughout the last month or so, I felt like that's what's going to happen in the fall. And then there's other days where I feel like because of the season I had last year and because of a lot of calls I'm getting this summer and with offers from higher level teams, that's where I'm supposed to go. So you could catch me on a day and I could be feeling completely opposite.
Yeah.
About which way I'm leaning. So it's been, honestly, right at this point right now, I couldn't commit either way. It's so difficult, and I pretty much need to within like a few weeks.
No, we would need to know right now.
Yeah. Coming to you live, my answer. No, it's been extremely difficult.
All I want you to say is...
Bring my talents to South Beach? Yeah. Bringing my talents to West Side Church.
My answer is... Yes! This is Going Home Show! Oh man, we reached the end. But it's good. So you've reached your decision?
I'm working on it.
This is great. Thank you so much, Jordan, for coming by. This has been awesome. I have one last question.
Oh, yeah?
Jordan, where are you going?
I'm going home, man.
I just don't care. We're going home.